I'm from Chennai ICMR. We're staying in the same campus of Tuberculosis Research Center. Tuberculosis Research Center is one which is earlier called as Tuberculosis Chemotherapy Center. Right from 1950s, they have been doing RCT. Their first RCT is on the domiciliary versus institutional treatment of tuberculosis. That's a historic result. They said domiciliary treatment is as good as an institutional treatment. Prior to that, when a person gets tuberculosis, he will be put under in a sanatorium, and the treatment is given only in sanatoria. After that particular trial, they said there is no need to go for sanatoria. You can rather treat him at home itself. Okay. Right from that, they have been. I think they have conducted more than 50, 60 trials. The latest trial number I don't know. For each trial, they have a number, and the rigor with which they do, it's something may be irritating to the principal investigator. Okay. Sometimes the principal investigator will not allow inside a room where all these data and all are there. Okay. And statisticians are called watchdogs. Okay. They will bark, send them out like, okay. See, that type of a rigor is required to do an RCT. If that sort of a rigor is not there, RCT may not. See, one advantage of an RCT is it gives an unbiased one. But by all intervention, there will be some bias is introduced, and so it loses its value as an unbiased stuff. So you have to either be very, very rigor, and only properly conducted RCTs will fulfill their promise of minimizing bias. Otherwise, there will be bias, and see, there is. I'm going to rather talk something on the evidence-based medicine. There is something called systematic reviews. Systematic reviews, and in systematic reviews, all RCTs, the published RCTs will be looked with a lens microscope, and if there is any bias, it will be thrown out. See, okay. So it's a good study provided it is done well. You must have that sort of a message from here. So advantage, the first and foremost, the only effective method known to control selection bias. RCT is the only known method which can rather minimize the selection bias. It controls confounding bias without adjustment because randomization is there. Facilitates effective blinding in some trials. Not all trials can be by blinding. Say, for example, one of the trials that we did on anal fistula, the two regimens where one is surgery and another is a medicated thread called Sharasutra. You can't blind. Okay. So the patient and the doctor know what is the treatment. It is not a blind trial. So not all trials can be blind. Theoretically attractive, many statistical methods assume random assignment. So it's a very attractive and elegant trial design. So and also it maintains the advantage of cohort. You are taking a cohort of guys with treatment A, guys with treatment B, and you are following it up, okay, prospectively. So it is a cohort design which is very advantageous. But there are equal number of disadvantages in an RCT. It's very complex and expensive. It's not easy to do an RCT. It involves a lot of resources, prohibitively difficulty, and expensive with low incidence. Say, when you are treating with handling with rare diseases, that's why when you look at cancer research, most of the studies are case control designs. Okay, there are very few designs which can rather get into an RCT on such sort of a rare diseases. May lack representativeness because volunteers may differ from. See, this particular point, we can really spend a lot of time in the sense that, say, when we are going to ask for informed consent, okay, people who say yes, I am agreeable, and people who say I am not agreeable may be of different texture. Okay, So you are going to now do that study only on people who say they are agreeable. All the people who say yes, I am agreeable may have a different characteristic by themselves. Okay, so there is some sort of a bias. You can't rather say no, there is no bias at all. So there is, it may have some lack of representativeness. Ethical challenges of experimental research. If I am going to rather put one case control study in for an ethical clearance, 27 studies were cleared in 2 hours. One RCT may take several rounds of discussion. They can't probably do it in one sitting, an RCT. Okay, so that's the difference. Like last month we had 27 case controls of our scholars done in 2-3 hours. They cleared it. Okay, so sometimes it is impossible or impracticable to conduct an RCT. Okay, if you have any doubts, clarifications till this point.
Can you compare randomized with case control? My impression is randomized is interventional, case control is descriptive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they are not on equal platform, nor are their goals similar.
They are not.
Right.
See, this is an experiment and that's observation.
No, but you can compare the results in meta-analysis.
See, meta-analysis is the one, can be rather, you can do a meta-analysis of different designs also. Okay, can do a meta-analysis of case controlled studies, and then try and rather get some better. What meta-analysis does is it tries to get a summary of all the studies that are done. Okay, at different points of time, at different places, you try to rather pull them all together in some way, and then try to get one single measure to say, to give a better estimate of that. Okay, that can be rather done. The systematic review, Cochrane systematic review, it does only on the RCTs. Now, I'll start with the study outcome measures tomorrow.